Welcome to this week's episode of Campbell and Jones Meet the Monsters, a podcast where we chart the cinematic legacy of the classic monsters. I'm John Campbell. With me, as always, Brendan Jones.
Hello, John Campbell, and hello, listeners. And to all of you who are afraid we're going to be doing Elvis impersonations this week, yeah, you have a right to be afraid.
Yeah, that's right, baby. That's a fine fear to have there. Austin Butler, how'd you get in here?
There's two things I love. I love my mama, and I love this movie.
I do love this movie. This is one of those, every once in a while, the thing that's so nice about this show, because we're just charting a genre, unlike what I do over on Action Shelf, where we are specifically focusing on the lesser works of a genre I love.
Right.
This ebbs and flows, and every once in a while you get a real gem. I love this movie. This one is fantastic.
The only problem with today's movie is it's one of those things where, admittedly, it's not very original. This is yet another movie where elderly Elvis Presley and a man who may or may not be an African-American John F. Kennedy fight a soul-sucking mummy in a retirement home in East Texas.
Now, again, are they going to get a new premise?
I know. It's a little tired. But I will say, other than that, you've aced out with not only a great cast.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect casting. And you have not the world's greatest horror director, but at least a guy who has a thing.
Yes.
And I will also say you luck out by, finally, it's amazing how Hollywood has dodged this guy, but doing a pretty faithful adaptation of a Joe R. Lansdale story. And Joe R. Lansdale is, his stuff is always basically Southern fried, horror stuff, but it's always with this black humor.
I love great. I'm a huge Lansdale fan, and actually some of his crime stuff is some of my favorite stuff of his too.
Yeah, because he does one thing he does really well is creating a voice for everything.
Yep.
And especially things that have a narrative voice, like a detective character or any monster hunter or whoever he's got as the lead.
Right.
He just has these great, wry, ironic, and also really blunt and occasionally disgusting. I mean, it's just you sitting there going like, this is just not a voice that you're seeing a lot in horror fiction.
You really aren't.
And then you realize it's a voice that we don't see a lot in horror film. And there should be more, because the guy's stories are always taking something familiar and then exploding it with weirdness.
I highly recommend. The only other really good film adaptation of his work is if you've seen Cold in July with Michael C. Hall, which is not a horror. It's a crime thing. It's horrific in nature, I would say.
Horrific. No, I don't know that one.
Highly recommend it. Michael C. Hall, Sam Shepard, wonderful little weird Southern crime thing about and it's one of those things where everything is, it kind of reminds me of History of Violence a little bit, where it's like it presents you with something that seems normal on the surface, but as the parts of it get torn away, the darkness reveals itself. Great movie. Really, recommend
that is very much his wheelhouse.
Yes.
So I'll have to look that up.
I highly recommend Cold in July. It was a buzzy little movie at Sundance a few years ago, and I highly, but of course, be warned, it is grim and gory. Which this movie. Here's the thing about Joe R. Lansdale, and I just kept thinking this as I was watching this movie again last night, and we were both saying it's been years for both of us since we've seen it.
Right.
But like, where do you even put this collection of ideas together? Because it's like, it just keeps adding a new thing. It's like, okay, well, mummy attacking a rest home. Well, that's kind of interesting. Well, what if the real Elvis was alive there? And then how do you get to JFK, but he's a black guy? Like, it's just like every idea is so weird, so unique, and you're just going, how does one's brain connect these dots into a story? It's amazing to me, the creativity.
It is amazing, and that is a Joe R. Lansdale thing. One thing that he is very also known for, and I think it does have a lot to do with the fact that not only does he write from a Southern perspective,
yes,
he's a voice of it. he loves the iconography and he loves Americana. So yes, Elvis and JFK versus a mummy seems on point with him. It's not even that. He even brings in a character which is highly linked at to be, you know, the Lone Ranger or an actor who had played the Lone Ranger. So, and then you have to factor in, hey, Joe Lansdale actually in the 90s wrote 2 miniseries about the Lone Ranger for the comics. He did 2 Lone Ranger series, which of course had them being much more R-rated, also very violent, but them fighting supernatural stuff. And again, that's him. He's like going, it's not enough that I'm bringing back the Lone Ranger and Tonto. They'll also be tackling like, you know, desert vampires and stuff. And you're like, that is the best thing.
Have you
They're
actually
shooting zombies?
Have you actually read the Bubba Hotep novella?
I actually own it. Yes.
Oh yeah, because I know in the novella there's also a gender swap John Dillinger is the other.
Yes.
Is the third part of this that they left out, which is probably good.
The movie's like, we just can't. We're asking them to go this far with us. We can't go that extra.
Which I just think in terms of like keeping it to a 90-minute movie, making it a two-hander, you know, and
it becomes a buddy film.
It really does. And I gotta say, I think, is this Bruce Campbell's best performance in anything? I think there's an argument it is. This was kind of looking at reviews from the time too, this is kind of the one time the critics were really kind to him.
I do think that, but it's not because he rose to the occasion. It's because he had it. I mean, even his buddy Sam Raimi has not given him. He asks a certain thing of Bruce, and he always delivers. But this is where someone gave him something to work with.
Really?
You're not a cartoon character.
Yeah.
In this, you're a guy. And yes, he's doing Elvis, but this is heartbreaking.
What you've just gotten into is the key to the whole movie to me, and what makes this movie great, and that is the total sincerity of it. This movie is really heartfelt, really emotional. And then on top of it, there's a mummy in it. But it's like, it is going, no, what if it was old man Elvis and the regrets he has of the life he's lived and the people he's hurt. And it really, and there's no winking from Coscarelli or Campbell about this. This is a totally real, like, this works as a character drama as much as it works as a horror movie.
Of course they work in what you expect. They work in martial arts where he's too old to really do it anymore. He's doing it. And he's saying, taking care of business, TCB. He's doing all the stuff. It even, his last words as he passes away, maybe, look for the sequel. No, they never got it. But,
no,
you know,
there's
his
a comic
last
book,
words
though.
are like, thank you. Thank you very much.
But even still, he does it in a way that's not, the way Campbell says thank you very much is not an impression. It really is like a
he is literally saying it to the universe as he passes away.
As the stars spell out all is well, and yes.
Because of the way he because of the fact that they have decided he's the POV character, which is like in the book. But I mean, we get his thoughts as voiceover, and it's not belabored. It's actually well written, and as you were pointing out, incredibly sincere. He's also crude and saying things you're like, damn, but it is something where he's created a real character, and it is Bruce Campbell not at the age that the character would be, but playing a genuine, I was a legend, I am near death, I'm having full regrets about things I've done in my life, and I also have to stop a mummy. And I'm going to do it with the help of a friend who thinks he's JFK. And it's just...
What I love about it is the thing, because, like, he is Elvis, right? Like, I feel like there's no doubt about that.
Well, the thing I do also like about this is they're still leaving everything up in the air. They leave it up in the air about whether he's really Elvis or he was that Elvis impersonator who did have a coma and came out.
It's unclear. To me, at least my read is he is Elvis. But what I like is the movie is much more vague about JFK. But that in the end, it doesn't matter. Elvis thinks and when he's just like, yes, Mr. President. You know, you're just like, man, they've earned the respect of each other. Like,
yes, and it is a sort of kind of touching in the way that this is not like a celebrity rest home, no matter that they've got a JFK. This is a little little retirement house, like it's Mud Creek, Texas. So
yeah,
just the fact that you've got this weird collection of people. But the thing is, Elvis, who of course is a legend and a god, he's now like friends with the guy coughing to death in the bed next to him, and actually is like, dude, you did amazing stuff. You know, he got his picture after he dies and that Purple Heart, and he's like, man, you did amazing things, but who even cares anymore? Not your daughter. And then, you know, he cares about Kemosabe. He cares about all these old folks that are in there with them
at the end of the movie,
because they're just people.
At the end of the movie, that's the thing where it's like, hey man, these are my people, all right? I'm not gonna let you take their souls.
That's right. It's all about, you know, at the end of your life, you're lucky if you have any friends, period, that are still there. And it is just, I will say, what really makes this stand apart, because it could have been a gimmicky thing, which it has the gimmick built in. But they went the extra step, as Lansdale did, of making it a real character thing, which gives a good actor like Bruce Campbell something to chew on, and he delivers.
That's the thing we talk about. It's the same thing when we talk about Vincent Price over on Vincent Price Show, or any of these guys. It's like they were always, we nerds know these horror icons they've got the goods. It's just, are you going to give them an opportunity to show them?
Sometimes they don't, but very often they do, especially the people that become legends. I mean, we can say Robert Englund, and you go, yeah, he was a great Freddy. You're like, no, that guy's a really good actor.
Really
it
fucking
just happens
good actor.
To be that's what we know him from, and all that stuff.
Yeah, the people. And I think, you know, I think Burn Notice gave him his most, like, mainstream, you know, and he got to play a lot of levels within 111 episodes of the show, which makes sense.
But so, I mean, we don't need to always just sing these praises of these amazing people, much less Ossie Davis, which we'll get to in a second.
I mean, the Ossie Davis thing that's amazing about it is, of course, there's no doubt what an amazing actor he is, but this is an example of that he would come to this and take it just as seriously as any of his iconic drama roles.
That is something I love too.
He
because
is so key to this too.
This is a thing where you're like going, all right, yeah, Bruce Campbell, even though that's out there, you're like, no, an indie movie where he's playing Elvis fighting a mummy, that's up his alley. Ossie Davis is a thing where you're going like, holy God, he saw this script and also probably saw the world's smallest paycheck, but he's like, I want to do this.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, this sounds great.
And how great they are together, how well that plays, especially, once again, you talk about the lack of gimmick, how much, you know, Bruce Campbell is playing decades older than he is, and yet I buy it. Like, it doesn't feel like I'm doing my old man shtick, you know?
No, we have two elderly heroes, one in a motorized wheelchair and the other with a walker, saving the world from a soul-sucking Egyptian mummy.
And they're kind of badass. All you want. Like, they're kind of badasses by the end of the movie.
Yes.
I will say, as always, I read the Roger Ebert review of this movie.
Yeah.
And it kind of frustrated me because he goes on and on about how good it is, but then can't like it, though. Like, it's this weird thing where he just goes like, well, it's really nice. He goes, it's endearing, but it just can't work. You just, all these elements together, I can't ever say a movie with this can work.
He thinks that it quirked itself
That's
out of
kind of
respectability.
His, yeah, I guess where he's going, he goes, it's not a good horror movie. It can't be these things. He goes, but oh, I like the sincerity, and oh, I was so endeared by it, but oh, I can't say it's, and just like, Jesus, Roger, just say you like it, man. You clearly do, you know?
And I will say, it is the sum of its parts.
Of course.
Because I will say that if you just went to it as a horror movie, it's not really going to deliver.
No.
There's some creepy scenes and some gross stuff and decent effect, or at least decent makeup on the soul sucker guy, the mummy.
I thought he looked cool as hell.
But yeah, if you're going for the horror, you're probably not going to get it. If you're going for some sort of wacky comedy, you're not going to get it.
Yeah.
It is the sum of its parts. It is the fact that you have all these random seeming elements put together and it becomes a complete piece. At the end of it, I go, that is exactly the story you would tell.
Well, that's kind
of an Egyptian mummy that is, knocked into a river while traveling the U.S. in Texas, then rises near a retirement home where Elvis happens to be.
And so that's the
and
thing.
Possibly JFK.
When he talks about the thing about like, well, it doesn't work as I'm like, no, that's exactly the point. I would say to him, I'm like, no, you're right. It doesn't work as any of those things, but it's not any one of those things. So all those things together make a really good movie, man.
This needs to be celebrated as what it is, not what it could or should have been.
Right.
Because what it is, and the only two things I would fix about this movie, the only two things, is give them more money.
Oh, yeah. Yes. I mean, actually, the thing is, it's astounding how good it is for how little it cost.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Give them more money because the effects are laughably bad. The makeup is on Elvis is decent, but then also really patchy.
Yeah.
But you realize that with just, and of course, and again, Don Coscarelli, way to go, because he's literally using strobe lights and stuff for effects. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
That is bargain basement. But for what he had, ends up being
this movie
really
cost
amazing.
$500,000, by the way, $500,000 budget, which is,
ladies and gentlemen, we have seen Howling movies that cost $2 or $3 million that look like absolute steaming
and
hot
that's the thing
garbage.
and that's the thing where I'm frustrated by Ebert, because he's right on about the endearing nature of it. You do overlook something, although I do think they and one of the reasons this works is I think the Bubba Hotep himself looks really cool. But that was because the K&B Effects boys did it for free as a favor to Don Coscarelli. That was just, they're just like, we love you, Don. We'll come in and design the Bubba Hotep.
And he does. He looks good.
And he really looks good. And that goes a lot. Now, the Scarab Beetle things, you know.
Oh, man.
They look fine when they're not moving.
Oh, man. But again, that scene is saved mainly just because of the acting. It is just Bruce Campbell as Elvis going, and he's like going, "Don't mess with the king."
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, please. But anyway, the other thing I would have had them spend the money on, is it really did need at least 2 Elvis songs.
Yes,
it really needed
Coscarelli. Coscarelli talked about this where he goes, if we had even tried to buy one, it would have destroyed the movie.
Yeah,
and same thing with licensing.
Twice the budget of the film.
Same thing with licensing any film clips when they do the Elvis movie marathon. He just goes, that would have killed the movie. We would not. Yeah. It would have cost more than the movie to license anything, which is just a fucking bummer. No, I agree with that, and that is. It's one of those things where you can actually feel that in the movie. You're like, oh, they couldn't afford that, and then you just kind of go like, okay, I know they also would have wanted that.
Yeah, I know that wasn't a choice. That was just. Yeah. They didn't have the budget, which is why I say the only thing I would change is let's do a Kickstarter campaign and get those people more money.
Well, it's a bummer that Bubba Nosferatu has never come to be.
Though I guess at this point, I mean, if it is, of course, Elvis coming back, he's finally getting up there towards that age where they won't have to put too much makeup on him. I say that with love.
Of course.
Bruce Campbell is a god. He always will be.
He is, and he's always fucking great. And I'm very excited he's going to be on a new Peacock series that's probably called Hysteria, which is about the satanic panic of the 1980s.
Ooh.
Him and Julie Bowen, who we've already go back and listen to our American because I love that woman. They're doing something about a small town being freaked out by heavy metal music and the hysteria it leads to.
Well, I'm all for it. Again, these are good people.
If anyone saw the criminally underseen and unfairly canceled AP Bio, his performance as Glenn Howerton's father in that, excellent.
So good.
Excellent. The guy is amazing. Look, and like we said, just give him a thing and he'll come in and crush. And more so than this movie. All right, let's look at the poster as always.
Okay.
It's it's kind of a slapdash poster. Once again, they don't have a lot of money. It's clearly also it's a very classic indie movie poster too, where it's got all the awards it's won at different festivals and such like that, and some poll quotes. I do like that they're leading though with Bruce Campbell as Elvis, Ozzie Davis as JFK.
Yeah. You know the legends. Now learn the truth.
It's great, and I mean I like the design of it. You know, the Photoshop is maybe
one
a little
thing I don't think this is the original poster. I think this is the later video release poster.
Well, this is the only one I could find because
the one I'm familiar with is in the IMDb. A couple more over, which is on the German DVD.
Yes.
Which has the Elvis pose with he's doing the horns with his hand, and then the Bubba Hotep logo. That I think is the original poster. I don't think Ossie Davis was actually on the original poster.
This is what I remember from my DVD copy of it too. What it looked like.
Yeah. I will say one thing I do love about it, the logo of Bubba Hotep.
Mm-hmm.
That is them just ripping the Ben-Hur logo.
Yes.
And that to me just cracks me up. It's great. It's this ancient hewn rock, big monolithic Bubba Hotep.
Yeah.
Which one of the jokes right there is underscored immediately at the movie, and it is so Joe R. Lansdale. Everything he's going to do is, here's a combination of genuine occult stuff, then it's going to have Bubba in the front. And you're like, yes, that is Joe R. Lansdale in writ large. So the very beginning of this movie is first a Webster's definition of Hotep, where it's like noun, and it's like the family of the pharaoh of blah, 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 this dynasty of Egypt. And then right after that, it goes Bubba.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a male person from the southern U.S. And then they do a second one where it's like a redneck.
Was it Hick, trailer dweller?
Yeah, trailer dweller. Yeah, all that kind of stuff.
It sets the tone beautifully for the movie because it is taking silly stuff seriously. Like it's taking it's going like, but no, we're gonna treat Bubba as definition. Here's the thing,
it's so good.
It's
and then basically we're just in this Mud Creek, Texas. It tells us, and Mud Creek does not exist.
Oh, actually, according to the trivia, it does.
What? Mud Creek does exist?
Let me scroll to this because I was gonna. Where is this here? I swear there actually is a Mud Creek, Texas.
Oh, okay.
Although it is not located in this part of the.
That may have been what I was thinking.
There is an actual Mud Creek in Texas. The name of the restaurant, although it is not located in the eastern part of the state.
Right.
So, yeah.
Lansdale.
Hey man, Texas is such a big fucking place. There's probably everything there.
There's everything there. He usually does put his stuff, sort of like his stories and stuff. I think he may have grown up in an area near Houston, or Austin or Dallas, in that kind of chunk of eastern Texas.
Right.
But regardless, it is basically exactly what you could picture. Is it's a small retirement home.
Yeah.
But we are instantly in Elvis's room, and the thing I love about that is it's so great. He looks exactly like Elvis. He's not changed his appearance. He's got the sideburns.
Yeah.
Of course, he's old.
Yeah.
But he even has the shades, the classic Elvis shades that he'll put on really quick.
Oh, and I love that he's using the shades as reading glasses, which is so fucking funny to me. Every time he wakes up, he's like, "Hold on here, man. Let me get my glasses on." Okay, he's still
like,
doing.
What am I looking at here?
He's doing the old man scrambling for his glasses, but they're the Elvis shades. It's so good.
And his voiceover is basically like, "Yeah, it's really me, and I'm here, and man, my life has gotten away from me." And Coscarelli does some pretty cool stuff and he reuses the effect. It's like, what is time like for someone that's just bedridden? And so he does these montagey fast cuts of nurses going by, coming in the room, changing pillows, because it all blends together for him. He does have this guy in the bed next to him who's coughing horribly, like he's
By the way, do you know who that guy in the bed next to him is?
I wish you'd tell me.
It is the old man from the beginning of Saving Private Ryan who goes to Tom Hanks' grave. It is old Private Ryan. Is that guy dying next to him in the bed? Yeah, I didn't know that until I saw that in the trivia. But yeah, that's the guy who plays old Matt Damon in Saving Private Ryan.
That's great.
Yeah. Harrison Young is his name.
Well, I hope he actually had work when he was a younger man, too. And not just all of his work was when he was old.
It seems like, he started acting in the 90s. So I think he was a guy who got in way later.
Well, that's okay. Yeah. Good on him.
Yeah.
And all he does here is basically die.
Yep.
And Elvis is like, he's like, oh, he's reaching out to Elvis and is like, what can I do for him, man? Hey.
Like,
And I think his name is something like Don. He may actually be named Don or
yeah.
Paul or something. He's like, what can I, and he just dies, and Elvis presses the button for the nurse, and basically then it sort of flash forwards to the guy's daughter is in his room.
Yep.
And we've also already heard Elvis's thoughts about, man, I can't even get hard anymore. It's like, yeah. And when I was a young man, I'd be doing it all the time. And he's like, now it doesn't even give a little shiver. And he talks about a growth on it. I mean, this is what I'm saying, where it's gross. He's sitting there going, I can't get out of bed. I can't get hard. I got some weird growth on my dick, which may be cancer. I don't know.
According to the behind the scenes of this, the only question Bruce Campbell asked before signing on to this movie was, you going to show the penis? Yeah, that was his one question for Don Coscarelli.
Well, I'm glad they didn't.
You going to show that dick?
You going to show that dick? You going to show that old messed up old dick?
Because I'll tell you this right now. Sam Raimi would show that dick.
Yeah.
Sam Raimi would have that dick get possessed and turn into a demon.
They luckily don't.
No, they don't.
They do introduce us to his roommate's daughter, and that whole scene is basically to showcase she's young and hot, and he's like, damn. You know, like even 20 years ago, I could have had her for in a second.
I also like the way, though, she goes, it's just like, at that point, it was unintentionally or intentionally, it didn't matter. I could see her panties, and it just showed that I was a sexual non-entity to her. Like,
it's like the fact that she knew that I could see everything she's got just proved how non-sexually threatening or interesting I was to her. And he goes, damn, that's a shame. It's like, that's what happens to a legend like Elvis. And she's not even recognizing him as Elvis. That's the whole thing. And she's throwing away her dad's stuff, which is
everything.
Elvis. He's like, you're not going to keep that?
Including his fucking Purple Heart, man.
Including his Purple Heart.
Jesus
you know, all the
Christ.
pictures she's tossing out. And he basically gets on her ass. He's like, you're his daughter? And she's like, yeah. And he goes, you never came to see him. And she's like, yeah, well, you know, I've been busy. Plus, I didn't have the money. And our relationship's been strained. All this stuff. And he's like going, you could have just come by a couple of times. So he's laying the guilt on her. Then the nurse comes in and introduces. She's like, oh, this was your father's roommate, Mr. Half.
Yep. Sebastian Half.
And he goes, I told you. It's Elvis Presley.
Yeah,
you can
Presley.
call me Mr. Presley. You can
Mr. Presley.
Elvis. And she goes, that's right. I'm sorry. And this is a very famous singer. She's saying this to the daughter, the hot girl, a very famous singer, Elvis Presley. And the hot girl goes, who? It's like, she's like, oh, great. Yeah, okay. The nurse, the woman who played the nurse, and I was very glad when I looked her up that she's had a really good long
I
career.
recognize this woman as, you know, a kid who grew up obsessively watching sitcoms. She was on Rock.
She was on Rock.
On Charles S. Dutton's Rock. I was, always
she's been around a long time. We're talking about Ella Joyce, and she delivers all the right beats. She's funny. She's also occasionally, you know, quite sympathetic. There's this sort of flirty thing she does, and then, but it's flirty / condescending, which I think a lot of nurses are, because you do treat the elderly like they're children.
Yes.
Which, when Elvis starts feeling his oats again, like when he starts coming back into himself, he pretty much unjustly lays into her like, you shut the fuck up. You treat me like a kid again, and I'm going to... And she's like, oh, Mr. Presley, and runs off. And then you hear his thought going like, I shouldn't have done that. Damn.
Yeah.
But
I think he's expressing something, though. We're just like, I ain't a fucking baby lady, you know, like.
Yeah. But she is really, really good.
I also just want to quickly, because I am a massive Seinfeld fan. Of course, I'm now reminded of her Seinfeld guest appearance where she is.
She was in Seinfeld?
Yeah. She's in the episode where Kramer starts Kramerica Enterprises. And he gets an intern from a local college, and she's the dean of the college who calls him in going, from what I can tell here, you don't have a company. And she's describing all the things that that the guy's been doing with his son. A high tea with a Mr. Newman. You know, it's all just like, it's very funny. She's just playing the straight man to the insanity of Kramer in a scene.
You never will not know when someone was in,
Seinfeld is one of those things. I can't watch. I've talked about this before. I almost can't watch it because I know every episode too well and all the jokes in them. So
We all appreciate your sacrifice.
Yeah.
That you can no longer watch.
Yeah. I can no longer watch Seinfeld. Well, I can, but it's just going to be like, and then Jerry's going to say this, and Kramer's going to do this. Now here's the part where Elaine's going to give that punchline. Although I will say, shout out to the guys over at Signcast, because they put me to shame. There's stuff where I'm just like, how do you guys remember the name of every girl that Jerry ever dated? Like, those guys are real hardcore.
Yeah.
So, and that's a great podcast. So anyway, yes, we get this sense once again. It's sort of like, even before we get into the mummy stuff, you're just getting this portrait of life in the nursing home. And my grandfather lived in nicer than this, but in a similar vein to one of these for the last several years of his life, and it was this kind of environment to a certain extent.
Yeah.
He had more of an apartment, but it still was like a little house with little apartments in it, and it was just kind of like, yeesh. When you went there was just sort of like it was not a good vibe in there.
No.
So, and they did it, no offense to them, it's just the nature of those things.
It is true.
And also, of course, just they established with this running bit with these hearse drivers, one of whom is the great Daniel Roebuck, there's just sort of the casualness of and omnipresence of death around them, right? That they're always carting a body out. They just
become this. These two guys. It's cute. They are comic relief, but they only show up like 3 times, and each time the gag is the one of them. Daniel Roebuck is the more sensitive, who's like, man, you ever think about it? It's like, this guy had a whole life and no one was here for him and all that stuff. And the other guy's like, yeah, whatever. Just put him in the back of the damn car. Let's go. And like the second time, he's like, hey, man. And then he's like, are you about to start getting all weepy again? He's like, no, she smells really bad. Maybe we should spray some stuff.
Yeah.
And then the third time they're taking a body out, there's this wacky comedy beat. That's Kimosabi. And they literally dump the body accidentally over the little wall on the porch, and that's wacky fun. But again, it is a thing where they're constantly in the movie explaining, yeah, this is where people go to die, whether or not it's a mummy taking them out. It's just, this is the realities of a lot of people's lives. And I also like the fact that what's really important in this movie is not about the mummy killing them. They're all old, but it's about the mummy is sucking up their souls, which kills the souls.
Yes.
And Elvis even's like going, that means they can't go to heaven or get reincarnated or whatever the hell happens after
the
death.
entire conversation later too about soul excrement.
Yeah,
one of the
great.
Best parts of the movie. It's like, well,
he goes, what was he doing in the bathroom? It's like, if he just eats souls. And he goes, what's he crapping out? And like JFK is like going, it's soul residue.
Yeah. Hey man, that's where your whole life is. What he says, like that's where your whole life amounts to. Just some kind of leftover thing in a toilet bowl. It's great, man.
There's a lot of butthole talk because Elvis becomes obsessed, because JFK does say it's like the soul sucker, the Egyptian mummy, can take the soul out of any body orifice.
Yeah.
And then for Elvis, he just starts focusing on, like, I'm staying up tonight. There ain't no way he's going to be sucking my soul out of my butthole. And then everything just becomes about, he's going, you saying that old lady got her soul sucked out of her ass? What is your deal, Elvis?
There is also a distinct use of the term arsehole, which I enjoy here. Arsehole?
Yeah.
God, I love. All that stuff is great and so on character. You're like, yeah, I imagine that probably is how Elvis would react.
Sure, absolutely.
We're just getting this stuff. By the way, the other hearse driver is a guy named Daniel Schweiger, who is a promotions guy for our buddy Charles Band.
Oh,
he works. He has most of his credits are for doing PR work for the Puppet Master movies and the Subspecies movies and Dr. Mordred, but seems to cameo in a lot of horror movies, including most of Coscarelli's films.
Wow.
Because he also shows up in some of the Phantasm movies and in John Dies at the End.
Well, good. I'm glad that he's still connected to quality entertainment. Or Full Moon.
Or Full Moon, yeah. Coscarelli is definitely much better than the Full Moon guys. And the first couple Phantasm movies I really like.
Yeah, me too, right up there. And I will say, you just explained what I was worried about. It's like we keep talking about Don Cascarelli. We haven't talked about the thing he's most known for.
Yeah.
And he is the guy who created and launched the Phantasm movie series, which did overstay its welcome.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah,
the first two are genuinely
really
just
good.
like a Joe Lansdale thing. They're their own thing, man.
Yep.
Like that's not based on any kind of standard supernatural thing. It's just out of his brain, and you're like,
It's great.
flying metal orbs with blades in them and tall creepy Undertaker dudes, man. It's crazy stuff.
He
and highly
directed
recommended.
the first 4, and then I think there are even more after that. Which there shouldn't have even been 4. But anyway, I have talked about maybe at some point doing some patron miniseries about specific franchises that don't fit into other monster stuff, like the Phantasm movies or the Hellraiser movies.
But you're setting yourself up, or setting us up again for like watching 2 good ones and then 8 horrible
the
ones.
Tremors movies and stuff like that. Yeah, that kind of stuff.
I mean, I would watch Phantasm or Tremors or Hellraiser.
Yeah.
And maybe another sequel of any of those, but that's where I would stop. It just gets horrible.
Yeah. Although there is a part of me that I've never seen when the Hellraiser movies go to space, and I've kind of always wanted to. Because I am wondering, is Hellraiser one of those things where eventually it gets so bad it becomes enjoyable again?
Who knows, maybe.
Yeah, well, we'll have to do that. And I tell you, I know somebody who'd be happy to do that with us, and they're on this podcast all the time.
Would that be Elliot?
Elliot loves the Hellraiser movies.
That should maybe be the name of Elliot's podcast.
Elliot loves the Hellraiser movies. Elliot's always one of those. For long.
Why haven't they started their own podcast?
I know they should. I keep talking about them and their best pal Olivia, who comes on the show sometimes too.
You're right.
They should be doing a horror podcast. They're such horror nerds. They are just as into this stuff as we are. And some of the weirder stuff, because when I was first getting to know Elliot, there was a lot of Clive Barker versus Stephen King arguments between us.
Well, that's not even an argument. That's Clive Barker, no doubt, very talented, and I've read some amazing Clive Barker, but no, he will not be, 100 years from now. It's Stephen King. They're still talking about it.
And Elliot loves Stephen King, but there's always just like, no, Barker, and is one of the only people I know who's like into the Barker continuity and stuff like that. And I'm like, I enjoy some of Clive Barker's stuff.
Sure.
Anyway, we can talk Lord of Illusions all day.
Yes, we can.
It's got Bakula, so so they immediately. I love, in classic horror movie fashion, the first person we see get killed kind of has it coming, and it's this old lady who's stealing shit from the other.
This is, again, blackly funny. The idea is, after everyone's asleep in the nursing home, one of the old ladies just goes out on the prowl, and the first thing she comes across is a fellow woman, I guess patient, who's in an iron lung, and she comes up to her.
So well done.
She's stroking her hair like, "Oh, friend, oh, you can't sleep either." There's no dialogue, but she's just like being very tender.
Choice.
And there's the above shot of the woman going, "Oh, thank you so much," and she's wearing glasses, and then immediately the lady who's walking around grabs the old woman's glasses off of her and starts looking through them like, "Oh, these are nice," and just takes them.
That's my favorite beat, though, is the like, yes, I could use these. This prescription's close enough. Okay.
And then she goes into like there's sort of like a gift table outside of a place, and she's like, "Oh, this isn't for me, but I'll take this."
Yeah.
And it's like gift chocolates. She's basically just walking around stealing stuff.
Because I love the cut too. She opens the tin with the ribbon on it, and she's like, and then it just cuts to her in bed just munching on the chocolates.
Yep. Yeah, and the glasses are like sitting on the nightstand. I mean, she's basically made her night haul, and that's hilarious. She's a klepto.
And then
while she's doing that, then there's a bug.
Because you hear some. What's Elvis say later? You hear some skittering.
You're skittering. He's like, "This place got a lot of bugs, man. Got a bug problem.
Got a big bug problem, man." Because I love when he's trying
to
when he's explaining it to the manager of the place later. He goes, "I don't know. There was heard some kind of skittering in the night," and the guy's like, the guy's like,
"Can you describe the skittering?"
Okay, it's skittering. All right, yeah. All right, man, you gotta do something.
Thanks for letting us know. We'll look into it.
You got a big cockroach problem, man.
Yeah,
that's the best. But so yeah, and of course she's she's not immediately freaked out. She's just like, I smushed you now, bug.
Yeah.
Which is funny until, of course, the thing doesn't die.
It doesn't die.
And this is the first time, and very well done, classic monster movie. Coscarelli at this point has done, I think, all 4 of the Phantasm movies that he did. And so the dude knows how to direct a horror scene. The introduction of just seeing sort of the silhouette from behind of the Bubba Hotep.
Yes. So basically, the Scarab is kind of like, I guess, the advanced scout of Bubba Hotep. And Bubba Hotep, we should say, has really acclimated to Texas.
That is the best part of the design, right? Like, to me,
I love it. The thing is that he is clearly like skeletal mummy, great face. Again, it's a good design.
It is,
You see ribs poking out, and there are rags hanging off him in true mummy fashion.
And the thing I was going to say, the thing that's so great about it is, if there's going to be one thing that I want the design to be good on, it is the Bubba Hotep mummy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I would like an action figure right now.
I think it's out there, and
is there?
I'm gonna look right now, but I thought I remember seeing one. And watching this again last night, I'm like, oh, I do need to get it.
But in addition, he's got a cowboy hat and he's got cowboy boots. Come on, man! An Egyptian mummy and a cowboy hat and cowboy boots is something you didn't know you needed. No, you need it.
Oh yeah, NECA makes a part of their cult classics line. There's Bubba Hotep. Oh, now I need him.
Yep.
And they make an Elvis.
Oh, get out.
Feature.
What? They need JFK next.
Yeah, man, I need this. Oh, I need this. He comes complete in his white suit. It's just him at the end of the movie. The sunglasses, the white suit, and the walker. They make a figure of him. Hi, man.
Oh, that's great.
I need this. I love that so much. As if I don't already have several Bruce Campbell action figures, actually.
Well, you should just do a shelf that's just Bruce.
I do kind of have a mostly Evil Dead shelf at this point, so.
Good.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
I approve.
All right, man. Hey, man, come on.
Hey, come on.
One thing Ebert said this in his review. He goes, "This might be the best portrayal of Elvis I've ever seen an actor do."
I will say, now it does fluctuate a little throughout the movie. I do think that the voiceover is better. Sure. Like he's gotten to a sweet spot where it sounds very much like Elvis.
Because they probably did it after the movie, and he had like really locked in. Yeah.
And in the scenes, it's never bad. It's never embarrassing. It's It sounds a little bit more like Bruce Campbell, and then the voiceovers are like, wow, he really found the voice. It's dead on. It's so good. And yeah, visually, Elvis never had that chin, but who the hell does? But he's such a good match that it's great. I mean, the scene where, because we get flashbacks when he tells the story of why he is pretending to be a guy named Sebastian Neff. And the whole story is kind of a Prince and the Pauper thing where he's like, I just got tired of it. I got tired of all the stardom and all the money and all that stuff. So he pre-Vegas or at the early stages of the Vegas career, goes out, finds the best Elvis impersonator, a guy named Sebastian Neff.
I heard it was the best. They say everyone said he was the best.
Yeah, everyone said he was the best. So he seeks him out.
That scene is so good when
it's so good.
Number one,
especially the makeup's different, obviously, because it's also Bruce Campbell playing Sebastian Neff, but they're pulling back on some of the Elvis-y stuff, so it looks more like Bruce. Yeah. And he's sitting there eating like blueberry pie, so he's got like smear pie stuff on his face, and he's like, "Oh my God, it's you! It's really you!"
And he kneels down and kisses the ring.
He kneels down and kisses Elvis's ring, and then you see Elvis walk out. And he's like, no, man. He's talking to his boys. And he goes, that guy was just another fake. But he is wiping at his mouth
where he had the blueberry, which is also, it's funny, but it also serves purpose. It's good.
Right. They have swapped clothes, and basically, and when he goes to the car, he reaches for his own door, and they're like, Elvis, we do that. You know, he's like, oh, sorry, man. Yeah, I forgot about that.
But then I like in the voiceover, he goes like, ended up kind of choosing poor because that guy actually liked drugs more than I did.
Yeah, he goes, I kind of made a bad choice because even though he was the best Elvis impersonator, he goes, well, he had a bad heart.
Yeah.
And he liked drugs even more than I did. Drugs and food. And so, and there was a contract they had signed saying if Elvis ever wanted to come back and reclaim his his real identity that he would just swap.
Yeah.
But Elvis's copy of the contract goes up in a trailer
In one of
barbecue.
in one of my favorite moments, that barbecue, when he's coming out, man, he goes, I'd found peace, and he's living in the trailer park, and he's hanging out with everybody, and then you see the massive explosion. He's like, oh no, man, oh.
He's like, oh damn it, there goes that contract.
So, but he's like, it's okay. I was having a good time, man.
Yeah, Elvis swapped with Sebastian Half, and Sebastian Half is the guy who died in Graceland on the toilet.
Correct.
Which meant Elvis could never come back out of retirement. And his big regrets are not the money and all that. He's like, I could have been a better husband to Priscilla, and I wonder if my daughter even thinks about me. I wish I could see her one more time and tell her how much I love her.
Well,
see, this is all stuff where you're like, yeah.
That's so much of the thing too. He just goes, I just wish I could talk to my daughter one more time. Like, that becomes like a running thing throughout the movie, but what I like is it's not about the movie actually doing that. That's not possible. It's just motivation for this guy going, maybe once in my life I love the whole thing. At the end, he goes, in my movies I always played the hero type, but in real life I wasn't. Yeah. He goes, maybe this is my chance to be what I've always tried to be, a hero. Yeah. And you're going like, as silly as this movie is, I mean, I'm not rolling tears, but I am like, oh man, that's getting to me. Like, that affects
it's good
me.
Stuff. It's real motivation in a wacky mummy.
And those are my favorite kinds of movies, really. Those are the ones, because we see all kinds of stuff, and I can laugh at like some of the things where you're just being ridiculous and some more sort of flip comedy. But these are the movies, something like this, or a lot of the Edgar Wright stuff is like this too, where it's like, it allows you to, because it's so sincere, you take it into your heart more. It is funny, but you're also just like, well, I actually really like these people. So I think that's the stuff I love, that when you can do that, when you can really make me go, well, this is goofy, and that's like, hey man, I really hope Elvis stops this mummy. Like, I'm pretty invested in this. Somebody does need to stop this.
This is a thing where because you have come to care about whether he's Elvis or Sebastian Half, or whether you actually believe that the nice African-American guy is actually JFK, who's been shot in the head, and part of his brain has been replaced with sand, which I love that moment later where he goes, hey man, I'm running on sand here. Yeah, he's like going, I'm doing my best, but he goes, I'm thinking with sand. Yeah. And he keeps talking about how he still gets some emanations, some waves from his brain that's still kept at Washington D.C.
Yeah.
I mean, he's absolutely insane, and talking about how he still gets occasional thought waves from the part of his brain that they kept in Washington.
And
it's great.
The whole thing too about when the mummy is stalking the halls, he goes, they sent another assassin after me. Johnson sent it. In fact, maybe it's Johnson himself.
Yeah, and he goes, I hate to tell you, but President Johnson's dead. And I love that Ossie Davis at JFK goes, like, that's going to stop him.
It's so good. Like we said, this is a two-hander. We've talked how much great Bruce is, but Ozzy so grounds this thing, and you're just like, well, goddamn, he might be JFK died.
And another thing that is so great about that whole concept is there is nothing in Ossie Davis's performance where he is doing any kind of exaggerated Maine accent. He's not doing a JFK impression.
He's doing the opposite of what Campbell's doing, and that's the right choice.
Well, it is all about his sincerity. And I am a sucker. I mean, I'm sorry, but going back to Don Quixote, the idea of the gentle insanity of someone who is not a danger to anyone but believes they are someone or something else has always been a thing for me. I love it. Emperor Norton, my favorite historical figure.
Yes.
Where it's like he injured no one by claiming that he was the emperor of the United States.
Yeah.
And everyone in San Francisco back in the 1840s totally allowed him to believe that he was. And that is legendary. I love it. So I'm totally ready to call this guy Mr. President because he's like, why not? He's JFK.
At the end when he dies and Elvis salutes him, oh my God, it really is very touching.
And he salutes him in the same way that JFK Jr. did.
Yes, very nice touch there too.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, that's just great. Oh,
Mr. President. This movie's so good. Like I said, it's like, I don't know that this is the best movie we've seen, but it certainly is one of the most endearing. That's what I just keep coming back to. Is I just love this movie. Like
Yep.
it just makes
Yep.
you fall in love with it. I'm sorry. Whether
Yep.
you're and kind of opens it up to us like, well, you don't really have to be like a horror person to enjoy this movie.
No.
It does kind of work as a comedy, but as sort of a weirdly sweet comedy. It's
Yep.
really so many people try to balance tones, and it's always where movies fall apart to me, when people can't understand just a dash of this, a little bit of that, and you create this interesting tone. You see it fall apart all the time. But this movie, so well, and also it makes me wish Coscarelli, as much as I like his other movies, did more of this, because it's like Phantasm doesn't have this tone. John
No,
Dies
it
at the
doesn't.
End is a very fascinating movie.
It's clearly coming out of the writing and the
Yeah.
story. And not that I'm saying Coscarelli could not on his own, but you look at the rest of his stuff, and like you said, it doesn't have this feel.
But the thing
It came from the right marriage of actors, director, and
the thing that's great,
writing.
of course, is that whether that came, but like he totally gets it, right? The directing, he's like got it, and there's so many people would have dropped the ball with this script.
Yep.
And also, I don't think anyone but Bruce Campbell could have pulled this off. I can't think of a single other people could maybe have played a better Elvis, quote unquote, but not this Elvis.
Yep.
Sorry, Austin Butler. I don't want to see him fight a mummy. Although he's very good. I think that movie's very bad, but I think he's very good.
I didn't see it.
I think it's clearly destroyed his life, but
Ooh.
well, the man can't stop talking like Elvis. I can't wait for Dune Part 2. He goes, "Come on, Paul Atreides, the spice must flow, baby." All right. Yeah. So,
One of my favorite lines when the guy is asking, because Elvis doesn't know anything about the lady dying from the bug, but he
Right.
gets visited by the scarab,
Yeah.
and that he actually does, even though the idea is that he had a horrible hip accident 20 years ago. On stage,
yeah.
his hip went out. He had this horrible fall. He was in a coma for
Right.
a long time. Wakes up and he's barely mobile, so he's really kind of bedridden. Slowly, we see him kind of getting around with a walker. The whole idea is that as the movie progresses, he starts getting his mojo back, and he's able to walk a little better and faster and so forth. And he starts becoming Elvis again, which is great. That's one of the overarching things. But here, in the fight against the scarab, which is before he's really got it all back, he's kind of flailing, falling on the ground, but he's like thinking like the king, like he's
Right.
reaching. I love it. He sees, because it's coming across the floor toward him, and he's on the floor, and he sees he knocked off his tray, his dinner tray,
Yeah.
and he sees that it has like a two-pronged fork for, I guess, steak or something. And he reaches back and he pulls his arm around and he's got the spoon instead. And he's like, "Oh, damn, that's not gonna help anything," which is great. He's grabbed the wrong thing. He's like, "Damn," and throws it away and grabs the other thing. And the whole thing is gets the two-pronged thing. There's also a sun lamp that's nearby.
Love
he
it.
stabs the scarab with the two-pronged fork, holds it up and is like, "Ugh." He goes, "You're an ugly big ass cockroach. You're just an ugly big ass
And then he
cockroach."
holds
Because
it
you
to
know what
the-
your one mistake was? You messed with the king.
Yeah. Don't you? Yeah. Was there something about like one less man? Don't you ever fuck
Don't
with
you
the
ever.
king?
Don't ever fuck with the king.
Yeah.
And then he stabs the two-pronged fork into, because he sees that the scarab is still twitching on the thing.
Yeah.
He shoves the whole thing into the sun lamp, which is hilarious because, yeah, it cooks the bug, but at the same time, Elvis is getting shocked. He's like, "Oh,
Well, the movie, one of the things I love about, even like when he gets his mojo back, Elvis is a badass, but he's still like a fragile old man. Like they never really like take him too far into action. It always feels weirdly grounded, even though he's fighting a mummy. But like even when at the end when he's like punching Bubba Hotep and stuff like that, you're like, yeah, but they're all kind of old man punches. But it's all about he's got the heart back in him to.
It is more about that. He doesn't suddenly become superhuman. He's still a fragile old dude, but he is not helpless.
I mean,
we love.
And one of the best lines in any movie ever is, "Let's go kill us a mummy."
Man.
And you're like,
but one of my favorite lines is when because that's a scene afterwards where like they come for another dead person, and that's where he's talking to the the guy about, man, you got some big ass cockroach on it. He's like, what? How big are these bugs? He goes, oh, like he goes about like my fist, or he was about the size of a peanut butter banana sandwich. I love the fact he says about the size of a peanut butter banana sandwich.
But size peanut butter banana sandwich. Yeah, I mean, it's just like there are little beats like that,
little Elvis jokes,
little Elvis jokes. Yeah. So yeah, so this is at this point he still hasn't seen the mummy itself. He's telling the manager, like we're talking about. But also, the killing of the bug is the first step towards him getting his mojo back. Because now when the nurse is putting the cream on that growth on his penis, a little something happens.
Yeah.
But he's not even...
Like, and she's like, Mr. Presley, like, what's going on here? He goes, oh, well, huh.
Well, that's the other thing I like about it is he's just, like, staring off going, what the fuck was that bug last night? That was a whole thing. Like, this whole idea about, like, he just needs, like, a problem to work on is basically what's giving him his mojo back.
He needs something to focus on, and he felt like a badass killing the big bug.
Yeah, and so it's just like, oh, hey. It's almost just like it's not even necessarily about her. Not that he wouldn't be attracted to her, but it is just like, hey, I'm back, baby. I'm rejuvenated in some way.
Yep.
So I like that too, and she's doing this like, well, you ought to be ashamed. She goes, you need to take a cold shower. He goes, only way I'm taking a shower is if you get in there with me, baby.
Yeah.
There is the other thing about it. It is sort of like Bruce Campbell. There is the like "Hail to the King" baby in Evil Dead. There is an Elvis quality. He always had a little bit of that like kind of like, hey, sort of
of course,
swagger to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I do think it's sort of it is a pretty natural fit, even though on paper you're like, oh, what? And then you kind of put some thought to it, you go like, oh yeah, of course.
Yep.
I think it's that thing too where it's like Ebert's talking about, this is the best Elvis performance. It's like, I think because it's not beholden to the biopic, it oddly gets to a weirder truth about Elvis, which I think can sometimes happen when you obfuscate through like that sort of prism of the genre stuff. It's like it's not trying to be the definitive Elvis movie, so it kind of represents like how we feel about Elvis in a certain way.
Absolutely. And also because we're in his head, it's showing him very human while the trappings are still there.
Yes.
And that's important because we're hearing doubts, we're hearing regrets, and occasionally he swaggers and you're like, it's all of a piece, and he's a human. And he's approaching the end of his life here, and obviously Elvis himself didn't get that far.
No.
And I'm sure even 40s, Elvis in his 40s is like, what's going on with me, man? I shouldn't have done those movies. I wish I had given the Colonel the kick a long time
I do
ago.
like that whole thing. It's like, I should have told that guy to fuck off a long time ago. And I was like,
yeah.
Man. I'm sure that was the case. When he wasn't just, I think that was what he was probably pounding the pills to not think.
Yeah, and also, day by day, just like, man, I enjoyed having sex with that groupie, and now I'm going to eat 18 meatloafs.
That's my biggest disappointment about the Baz Luhrmann movie is there's only about 5 minutes of fat old Elvis, which is kind of the movie I want to see. Yeah, it's really like the movie really wants to lionize him, so it is sort of just like, and then we all kind of know what happened to him, but
we just want to focus on the cool period.
Sort of, yeah, and it's like they sort of like, then he got into drugs and the guns and stuff, but that was, but also, of course, always going, but it's all Colonel Parker's fault, which, look, Colonel Parker, not a good guy, but to think Elvis would have been totally fine if not for Colonel Parker is a little bit like... I am more interested in, and this just turned into Elvis Cast. I don't know if you've heard about the Sofia Coppola movie she's making about Priscilla, but I'm much more interested in that.
I saw the trailer for it.
I'm really interested in that because they're actually portraying her as the teenager she was, as opposed to none of that is part of the Baz Luhrmann movie.
Yes, I will be interested to see where it goes.
Yeah, I think that's a more intriguing film, I should say to me. At the very least. All right, so yeah, this is also where we meet Kimosabe, and I do love he goes, that's my pal Kimosabe over there.
Yeah, again, we're introduced, and it's, of course, very convenient. We're introduced to a lot of these characters via his voiceover, so anything weird about them, he's just going to tell us.
Yeah.
And we see that, when they have dinner in the mess hall, and it's just all these old folks, there is a guy in a white cowboy hat wearing a black mask, and he's got just cap guns.
Yep.
And he's clearly hallucinating. He's just like going, they're up on the ridge. We got to stop them. And he's, you know, an old dude dressed kind of like the Lone Ranger, and he's having some sort of made up battle.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, it's a shame that he's totally, basically Elvis goes, he used to be a lot more lucid. We used to be able to have conversations, and now he's kind of just gone into his own dream world. And he's like, that's a shame. I like talking to that guy.
That guy's all right there. Interesting note in the trivia here, this guy who plays Kemosabe played the Lone Ranger in an episode of the Beverly Hillbillies.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Well, I see that. I looked him up, and I didn't know that's what he had done, but he did a lot of westerns. So
yes.
it is something.
He
where
had.
like,
he
yeah,
had.
I got it.
They talk about literally in the 1960s, he had put on the full costume in an episode of Beverly Hillbillies. Some guy playing the Lone Ranger in that.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah. Larry Pennell.
Yeah. And he doesn't have a lot to do here, but he gets a great death.
He does. Oh man. It is great because when he's...
See, here's the thing. So Elvis and Jack, who's another, and we get Elvis's take. He's like going, I like Jack. He's a cool guy. He's like, he thinks he's JFK, and that's just nuts.
And I remember this from the trailer, and it's so key to why Ossie Davis's performance works so well in this. When he just goes like, "Hey man, I hate to break it to you, but JFK was a white guy," and just his sincerity of, "They dyed me this color."
Yeah, I know.
It's just like, put it together. It's ingenious. They thought of everything, you know.
And he goes, "Of course, no one would believe me."
Yeah.
It's like it's the last thing they would expect, and it does make perfect sense. And I one of the scenes that is really goofy. It's very goofy, dumb jokes.
Yeah.
But Ossie Davis.
Yep.
And Bruce Campbell pull it off so well, because when they start really teaming up, like, I know what this is. It's a mummy. It's an Egyptian soul sucker. JFK is actually the guy who puts a lot of this together.
He does. Well, we do see that he's got a mind for that, because he's been, when you go into his room and he's got all the pictures of Oswald and the maps, and he's built a little diorama of the Dallas assassination.
A room that's dedicated to his own assassination, which is pretty great.
It is,
including a diorama.
The diorama is very funny. Yeah,
with Oswald and the tower.
But so it's like he's got a mind to put this kind of shit together. They establish, you know.
Yeah. But basically, when they're like hanging out and like, we got to stay up because this thing comes in at night and we got to devise a plan. And he goes, "Hey, Elvis." And he's like, "Yeah." And he goes, "You want a ding dong?" and Elvis just kind of looks at him like, "Man." And he goes, "Not mine." And he goes, "No, I mean like a chocolate ding dong." And then Ossie Davis goes, "Huh. I guess that would be the same thing too anyway, wouldn't it?
I guess mine would be chocolate now."
I guess mine would be chocolate now. And I was just like, man, are you talking about candy or what?
The fuck
and then
is
we
that?
finally get to, he's got this entire drawer full of candy. And he goes, "Yeah, what do you want?" He goes, "I'll take a Baby Ruth."
I'll take a Baby Ruth is such a, it's not even a joke, but just the way Bruce Campbell says is, "I'll take a Baby Ruth."
Yeah, and it is a sort of it's sad, but the idea of, that's very often the thing. You're elderly, and it's all those little pleasures. It's like, oh, we're not even supposed to have that. You got a whole drawer full of candy.
I will say, once again, back to when my grandfather's one of these places, I would bring him Snickers bars and ice cream every week when I went and visited him. I would load up his fridge with, you know, snacks and stuff like that. It wasn't prohibited. It just, he couldn't go to the store and things like that. So, you know, and it was just like,
"Don't worry, I got you."
Yeah. "Hey man, give me those." He loved the toasted almond chocolate covered ice cream bar things. Yeah. Just the Kroger brand. He was a man of simple taste.
Well, you know, you did right by the old man. Made sure he had his treats.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
They develop this friendship where, for the most part of the early thing here, Elvis likes him, calls him Jack. He doesn't believe he's JFK. He humors him. And JFK will talk about, this is what they did. It's like, they took me to the hospital after I got shot, and he shows him the scar, and it is true. He's got a scar in the back of his skull. And he's like, he goes, "They took out the part of the brain that got shot, and they kept that in Washington. They filled in the hole in my head with sand, and they dyed me. And it's all part of LBJ. LBJ wanted me out of the way and all this stuff." And Elvis is just kind of nodding like, "Yeah, whatever." But the key thing is, Jack is the first one to actually see Bubba Hotep walking through the place with the cowboy hat and all that. So he's like going, I know what's behind this. He goes, well, it's just old people dying and big bugs. He's like, no, man. He goes, it's like a full-on mummy. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense. How does a mummy get in East Texas? And then one of the other nights when Elvis is like on patrol and Bubba Hotep walks by him on his way towards a different victim, Bubba Hotep looks him in the eye. And Elvis, I guess, gets a psychic connection, flash, where he sees parts of his own past, but he also sees like documentary footage of the unearthing of the mummy, and then the mummy being put on a bus to be taken around on tour. He sees this huge storm and the bus going off the bridge, which happens to be close to the nursing home.
And there was some statement from Kimosabe earlier about a bridge, and that also sort of puts the idea in his right.
Yeah,
they're coming over the bridge, man, or whatever.
Yeah, because he at one point, Elvis on his own, he starts investigating again. It's like he's feeling it. So
by the way, I would watch
Walker.
I would just watch Detective Elvis as a show. That would be amazing.
Any day of the week. Did you watch that Elvis Agent of the FBI?
I did.
Thing or whatever?
Yeah. It was all right.
It was okay. But this is better because it's Bruce Campbell as elderly Elvis with a walker.
Well, I will say that show
infinitely
better if they had gotten Bruce Campbell to be the voice.
Of course. And he stumbles his way down to the creek.
Yeah.
And he does see
also
the remains of the bus in the creek.
We talk about just the I know horror fans know this, but just like the underappreciated from what a fucking gifted physical comedian Bruce Campbell is. Because
no one will ever deny that.
I mean,
every movie he's ever done, there's a physicality to it where it's, you can tell, I say this often, you know exactly, this is what you always hear about that campus house where he and Raimi's brother, but also Frances McDormand and Holly Hunter and Ethan Coen, whatever, they're all hanging out.
Kathy Bates, too.
Kathy Bates. Yep. And you know, there's the one group that are talking seriously about theater.
Yep.
And as they always say, but then Sam and Bruce, they're watching Three Stooges.
Yep.
And you can see Three Stooges in everything the man has ever done.
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, there's the running thing about Bruce always being credited as Shemp in all of the movies.
Yes.
Wedding Shemp and stuff like that.
Because the guy can do better than... I mean, we talk about they're great physical actors like a Harrison Ford, where you buy every twitch and everything and it feels totally natural. He's not crazy funny in his physicality. Bruce Campbell manages to be both, you buy the threat, you buy the stakes, but he also, due to his expression or the way his shoulders jerk back or something, you laugh. You just laugh.
It's why I'm always so bummed about the cancellation of Briscoe County Jr., because you were just like,
could have gone.
That was it, man. That was it. That was Old West Indiana Jones. That was the perfect vehicle
and
for what
it was
this
weird.
guy's
it was a great combo of all the things you want.
It was super.
He's a handsome hero in a weird setting who can also be really funny because everything's surreal.
It was just like, that's the thing. I think that was the most mainstream thing that captured the Bruce Campbell energy, and people were just like, what?
Totally agreed. Totally
loved that show. So I think that's so key to this. I have heard stories about Joel Cohen would he was wooing Frances McDormand by reading Shakespearean sonnets, and they talk about while Bruce and Sam are reading comic books in the other room. You know, like it's just so weird because like the Coens and Raimi come up side by side, but they're radically different influenced people. Even though there's clearly a shared strangeness there. They're both nerds, but in a different way, right? Like towards different directions. And lest we forget Bruce Campbell's most recent performance, Pizza Papa.
Oh yes, Pizza Papa! Come on.
He has one of my favorite.
The most crapped on character in the multiverse.
He has one of my favorite lines in that movie when he sees that they've taken that they stole his pizza balls, and then he sees that he's wearing Doctor Strange's cape, and he just goes, "You're a taker." The specificity of that. And talk about Three Stooges shit when he's beating himself up. It's hilarious.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That was so in his wheelhouse. It was embarrassing.
So I do like JFK will team up with Elvis only if he goes, "You've got to tell me you're not part of the conspiracy against me."
Yes, yeah. He goes, "Look, we'll work together, but you got to promise me you were nowhere near Dallas in '62, and you had nothing to do with Oswald or Jack Ruby."
I never even met those cats. Like,
yeah, and it's so great the way Elvis is like, "This is what he needs," so he does it with utmost sincerity. I was nowhere near Dallas.
Yeah.
And I never met those fellas.
Yeah.
It's so great.
Okay.
So
and now they're in on this together, and it's so good. Once they start their investigation, he goes, "Okay, I got to show you something." And this is where he shows him the hieroglyphics written on the stall.
This is so Joe R. Lansdale. Is that the big giveaway when they're trying to figure out what this thing is that's killing people is hieroglyphic graffiti inside the crapper.
I do like that. He goes, so somebody wrote on the wall the crapper. What's the big deal? It's like, no, you got to take a closer look at it.
And he does, and he goes, "Hey, this is Egyptian." He has to put on his glasses. He goes, "This is Egyptian." And he goes, "What do you think it means?" And then he tells what it means. And it is basically that Bubba Hotep wrote something like Cleopatra was a real goer or something like that.
Yeah. Yes, it was. It was something like that. Just like, oh, man, come on. He goes, well, it's probably one of these nuts around here who read a book about Egypt, you know?
Yeah. And he's like, "No." And then he says, "There's the thing. I've got this book." He goes, "Do you get all this out of like a comic book or some kind of magazine about aliens or something?" And he's like, "No, it's a book that, of course, is totally made up." Again, Joe Orlanzo is like a man and woman's guide to the afterlife or something like that.
It's very funny. When Elvis is sitting there, once again, with the Elvis glasses, this is reading glasses, he's just sitting there looking at "Hey, man, this here says that our fella might be a..." And what did he say? What did he fucking say? I loved it so much. He goes, "Seems you've given him the right amount of Tana leaves. He can come back from..."
Yes,
I was like, does. Yes! He goes, watching this.
He goes, "Tana leaves and enough moonlight and stuff like that." And he comes back to but he needs souls. That'll bring him back to full power. And he sucks those souls out of people. So this is because mummies are nonsense anyway that have no rules.
Oh yeah.
As we've said a million times, the whole mummy as a supernatural creature thing only started with Universal Films.
Right.
So there's no guidelines. Tanneles are made up too. So here there's a whole thing called a soul sucker, which Joe R. Lansdale basically says any like Egyptian corpse, if this kind of spell is spoken over it, and they bring up the thing about he was fine and could not rise as long as he was in a sarcophagus because there was a curse on it and they had taken his name away. That's also something from those old Universal movies too.
Well, and I like I like where he just goes, "Hey, that sounds like our fella."
That sounds like our fella. But then of course he goes, "I bet in that crash, he was freed from the curse because he was burst out of that sarcophagus." And now he's able to come in and suck souls.
Oh, because that's right. Because JFK and the woman who claims to be my niece, which I love.
Yes.
Says she's my niece. They went to the local newspaper and found the article about the crash.
About the crash.
Some guys stole this mummy. Because the other thing we didn't talk about also at the beginning, there is a little brief newsreel about the discovery of the Bubba Hotep. And that was taken on tour, and when it was in Texas, some guys stole it, but then crashed off a bridge.
Right. And that was the bus that went off the bridge during the big storm.
That really
and
made
that was great. He's like, he goes, "Hey, how you get into the library?" He goes, the woman who calls herself my niece took me there."
I love that so much. I was just like, yeah, it's some woman who said she's my niece. Anyway, but he's like, "It's fine. She took me there. I needed somebody to take me there, so I guess that works out." This guy who everybody thinks is crazy and is playing along with him is now playing, "I'll play along that she's my niece."
Yeah, it's like, whatever.
Yeah, sure, lady, my niece.
Hey, John?
Yeah.
May I take a quick werewolf break?
Oh, you may, yeah.
Thank you, sir. I'll be right back. I need more things to drink because my throat is killing me.
All right, we're back from our werewolf break. By the way, I like when you asked, "Can I go on that?" As if I'd be like, "No, Brendan, you sit there and do the show."
I did raise my hand very politely.
Excuse me.
Excuse me, Mr. Campbell. I really need to go.
Speaking of that, there is a fun story from the trivia. I don't know how fun it is, but about because of the way that the bed was set up and all the lights and stuff like that, Bruce Campbell did actually have to use the bedpan at one point.
Are you
Because
serious?
they could not get him out of the bed with the lighting set up and all the rigging that was around him. He was actually trapped in the bed for some of the takes, apparently. So he did say, I actually had to relieve myself in the bedpan at one point.
Wow.
Hey, man, that's indie filmmaking right there.
That's indie filmmaking, and I supported 110%.
I also recommend anyone go to the IMDb, if only for the promotional photos of this, clearly at like some film festival, which are just Bruce Campbell, just as Bruce Campbell doing Elvis poses.
I love it.
Because they're great, and some of them he has the sunglasses. But he's just in like a button-up shirt doing all the come on.
I mean, if you're going to embody that guy,
Yeah,
then embrace it. And
absolutely.
he did.
Well, if there's one thing he's always done is embrace whatever he's in. That
Very
guy
true.
never phones it in.
No.
And recommend all of his books too if you haven't read them. Which if you're listening to the show, you've probably read his books.
They're hilarious.
They're very funny.
And if ever there's a guy who, it's similar kind of to a Colbert thing. If ever there was a guy who plays up being egotistical while you can tell he has no ego about him, like in a playful way, it's him.
I went to I've seen him a few times at conventions and stuff, but I went to a signing for his second book, and it was a signing and screening of Army of Darkness. And actually, they talk about he took this movie around with him with his first book. He would do signings for the book and screen Bubba Hotep. But when I was in high school, here at the people know the Hollywood Theater in Portland, that's where it was. A friend of mine, he was taking questions for the crowd, and my friend raised his hand and goes, "Yeah, who's the one person in the world you'd like to tell off the most?" And Bruce just went, "You jerk!" And then everybody applauds. And then he's just like, "Thank you for that opening." And then he signed his book. He goes, "To the jerk in the audience."
I love that so much.
He was great, man. He's the few times I've had very few brief conversations with him, he's always exactly what you want him to be.
Love him.
Yep. All right. So
too bad we didn't get to meet Ossie Davis.
I know. I would have loved to have met Ossie Davis for many reasons.
One thing again, this is an outlier in his career, but again, a person who, Academy Award worthy actor of so many great films, and he did do comedies. He just didn't do anything this broad, not very often.
No, and it was because he did do like the grumpy old man movies and stuff.
He
later
did,
and stuff like that, and
he was
always
a very good addition to that very weak series. But
those movies are fun. Come on, I like those movies a lot. They're cute. They're cute. And of course, one of the most successful Hollywood marriages, married to Ruby Dee.
I know, forever and ever.
Also,
and
was a fucking
they worked
legend.
together a lot, which is
they were always great, and one of those great sort of.
All right, now I'm sad. Let's not talk about the Departed.
Yeah, I mean they both lived long lives.
They did and had very successful.
And this
careers.
is he didn't live much longer after this, so this is a late in career, still just crushing it. Performance
he crushes it so hard, and you believe that he's going to save the day.
You really
in a
do.
Motorized wheelchair.
You really do. And damn it if they don't. These two guys together. All right, so so now they're doing their research. Where were we here? Oh yeah. So yeah, let's talk about the death of Kimosabi because it is a great moment. Kimosabi wakes up in the middle of the night to the soul of his roommate being sucked out by the Bubba Hotep.
Yeah, and again, it is like kind of what you're expecting, where we haven't seen mummy movies where a mummy is doing this, but it is him just leaning forward over like the elderly person and forcing his mouth open because he's going to literally suck the soul out of the guy's mouth. And Kimosabi seeing it because again it's in the same room, and Kimosabi is like, "Come and get me, you motherfucker!" It's that kind of. Or he's not cussing, but he does call him
asshole, which is great.
Yeah,
hey asshole. And he's got the cap guns. And this scene, the death of Kimosabi, is kind of a perfect encapsulation of this movie, where it's like, It's sad, it's silly, but it's also kind of epic at the same time.
It's strangely majestic
Yeah.
because, again, the cap guns do nothing to the soul sucker, but it's like his willpower is what's forcing the thing back.
And I gotta shout out, this now's the right time to shout out the great score by Brian Tyler in this thing.
Yeah.
Because it does have, the score is totally sincere. That's another key to this as well. It is all the moments where it chooses to swell and be heroic. And Brian Tyler goes on, this is early in his career, but he's gone on to do a lot of the Marvel movies, and he does all the Fast and the Furious movies. So he's a big-time film composer now.
He's a big-time operator.
But this is pretty early, obviously, because he's probably working for no money. But you can tell, like everything in this movie, he's gonna go for it.
Yep. And what I do love about this death is that Kemosabe is not soul-sucked, because he's forced Bubba Hotep out of the room with nothing more than he's approaching him with his guns blazing, which they're not. They're just going snap, snap. But he walks out like a cowboy hero, staggering and like, get back. You're not going to have us, blah, 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 blah. And Elvis is seeing this because he and Jack are actually witnessing this.
Yeah.
And when Bubba Hotep does like just get out with all the, weird light effects behind him, then Kemosabe just collapses like heart attack. That was his last stand. And again, it's sort of like they give him the send off. And he's like, God damn it. Kemosabe, he was a crazy man, but he was a real hero. And you're like, oh man, everyone gets a respectful.
His heart gave out. So that means he died with his soul. He died
with his soul is the important thing.
And it is sort of like, you're also kind of like, that's kind of probably how that guy would have wanted to go out. Guns a-blazing against the forces of evil.
Yeah. Basically, Lone Ranger versus a mummy, which
is a comic book I'm writing right now.
Well, you don't need to, because again, Lansdale's got you covered already.
It's true.
There was no mummy, I would say, but
but there's something great about that, and it's just this whole movie is this. It's actually one of the kindest celebrations of the elderly too.
Yeah, it's all about giving. Anyone, it doesn't have to be Elvis or JFK. It's like, look, man, they're old, but they have all of this worth, and they are still heroes. They are still strong.
Well, and it's the whole idea about that the mummy is targeting this because everybody's gonna die here anyway, and nobody cares, and so it's just limitless. Because they also are talking about these people are old. He's not getting much soul, but he can just keep coming back, and they keep putting new people in, and so it's basically this buffet for him of souls.
They do bring that, and that's like. The script is not like, let's just throw an absurdity on an absurdity. There are moments where there's mythology shared, and they're like going, well, why would he be staying here? He's getting more powerful. And it's like, yeah, the souls are small because we're old and near death. They're not as much, but there's an unending supply. It's like every time one of us dies, another person's coming in. So he's just building up strength. And
nobody bothers to go well, of course they died. They're old people and old folks.
Right, exactly. No one's going to investigate, and his victims are too weak to really fight back. And of course, Elvis and JFK are like, well, fuck that. We are going to plan a way to take him out.
Man.
Love it.
Let's go kill us a mummy. By the way, I just was looking at our Lansdale here. There's a movie that's coming out later this year with Peter Dinklage based on one of his books called The Thicket. So definitely interested in that.
Dinklage, always worth it.
Oh my God, always that guy, amazing. He's the voice of the villain in the newest Transformers movie, and he's fucking great.
Of course he is.
Yeah, that guy can't not be great.
No.
So yeah, they let's see here. This is where they finally drop the body in the shrubs. We talked about that a little bit. And Elvis is both feeling those, but he's also pissed about what's going on. So that's where he loses on the nurse, as we talked about, because he's just standing out there.
Yeah, and she's like, "You need to come back inside." And it's like, "It's not you."
And he basically hits her with
feeling better.
He basically hits her with a "Goddamn woman, get off my back!"
Yeah, it's like, "I ain't no child."
Yeah.
And he goes, he basically says, "Stop condescending to me."
Stop condescending to me, and
he does use some pretty harsh language that sends her running away.
And he's like, "I'm gonna put my own damn cream on," because you also get this narration where he just goes like, "I don't care what they tell me. This shit's cancer and it's killing me.
Yeah,
they can lie to me all they want, man. But so but once again, that further is just like, well, if I'm going out taking this fucking mummy with me,
Yep.
Oh, it's so good. Once again, sometimes on this show when we get the really good movies, all I can go is and then that part, great.
Yep.
And that's of course also the scene right where he sees the Elvis movie marathon is coming up, and he's just like,
Yeah.
God damn, this is shit.
Yeah, and I mean, it is again all interior thoughts while he's laying in bed, and they're playing an Elvis movie marathon. And of course, as you already pointed out, they could not get the rights to even,
No,
seconds of it.
they've
So
got
they're using stock footage of the period, and like,
and it's all
you'll see all the girls and the racing cars and the
I will say yes, they have well chosen whatever footage they could probably get for free that very much evokes all the imagery you would see in his movies. Having seen a bunch of those movies, because they're all the same fucking movies. So
yep, they are. And he's right.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, with maybe 2 exceptions or 3, they're all shit.
Yeah, not a good one in the bunch. And you're just like, what? There are a couple that I think are somewhat decent, but no.
I like Jailhouse Rock. I mean, it's just right
like,
out of the bat. You're like, this is great.
I like Jailhouse Rock. I like Kid Galahad. I think that one has a little bit more going on.
I'm not a big Kid Galahad fan.
But I think that one has slightly more of a movie, is I guess.
I like King Creole, and
sure.
I like Flaming Star, that Western.
Yeah. He could have been good.
He could have been good. Just like he could have been doing even better music had it not been picked for him by that guy.
Yep. But once again, anyone who's a fan of Walk Hard, I cannot watch that Elvis Baz Luhrmann. It literally, because there literally is the scene who's like, "Hey man, what are y'all doing back there?" They're like, "Well, we got pills back here, Elvis." And he's just like, "Oh, look, let me in on some of that shit, man."
Yeah. What do? They make you be able to party all night. Well, I want me some of that.
And there literally is a scene where all the women in the crowd who are uninterested suddenly get real horny for him. And I'm just going like, are you kidding me, man?
Right.
Anyway, I'm going to keep it. I really dislike that movie. But all right. And Tom Hanks.
But that we also need to say, we love Walk Hard and highly recommend it.
Walk Hard is so good, it does retroactively destroy every music biopic. It makes it nearly impossible to watch. It really is. You go like, holy shit.
I can't even watch the Al Jolson story anymore.
I couldn't ever, but for many reasons. No. We all know what Al Jolson was up to. And so, yeah, that's when he talks about, like, well, this thing, man, we just got to destroy this fucking thing. Let's go kill some mummy. And they're gearing up montage. Hey, man, check on we got the rubbing alcohol. We got this. And then it's just like, what does he say about, like, suit? That's a big check, baby. And he holds up the classic white rhinestone suit. And you're just like, oh. Yeah. It's like, this is a superhero movie now, right? He's going to put the costume back on.
If he's going to go out, he wants to do it right. He wants to look the part. Yeah. So he's got his classic rhinestone outfit with the big collar, and he's ready to go. And they have rigged this thing up, which is like like a bug spray tank. But it's
I like
full
when he talks about
alcohol.
I stole it from one of the gardeners.
Yeah. And so they're gonna go out and kind of use each other for bait, but also kind of like, you take that area, I'll take this area, and we both have stuff to light them up with.
The swelling music as they in slow motion go down the hall. Elvis with his walker, JFK and his little motorized scooter, and just like, oh, but you are going like, yeah, man, fuck up that mummy, you old dudes. Let's do it.
And guess what?
They do.
They fuck up that old mummy.
They do. They go out as badass heroes, man.
And it is, it's staggered enough to where there's moments of like, oh, so close, but JFK dies first.
Yeah.
They had to give each one of them their kind of like farewell. So they are separated, and Bubba Hotep goes after JFK first. You would assume probably because he is the weaker since he's in the wheelchair.
Well, and it also sets up he gets knocked out of the wheelchair, which then leads to Elvis's charge at him in the wheelchair, which is pretty great.
Yeah, because Elvis is like, I will never get there in time, but JFK's wheelchair has gone on unattended, and it's rolling right towards Elvis. He's like, well, I'll just take it. And so he grabs it and turns it into his chariot.
Let's do it.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
And when JFK gets taken out, also important to note, his soul is not successfully sucked either.
Correct.
But he's been crushed or choked. He's dying, and he's on the ground, and that's when Elvis goes, he's like, Mr. President, it's been an honor or whatever, and salutes him, and it's just great. And if you're not at least getting a little misty-eyed, you're inhuman. You're a robot.
That's the thing I like. Once again, it's so nice. Like, it's so, this friendship, the movie, like all great horror movies, you could take The Mummy out and it's still this beautiful story about these guys. That is just what is driving the plot of it, but it really is this character piece.
Well, just like I was saying on Dog Soldiers, which I think, will that come out after this?
That will come out. No, that came out a couple times before a couple episodes.
Okay,
before
good, good. Anyway, but it is important, and it's smart in any horror thing, even if it's thin strokes. You do have to build characters to be slaughtered or killed or whatever, because stakes come from people feeling empathy towards those people.
Correct.
You have to. They don't have to be great people, but you have to understand them as real humans instead of, well, there is naked teenager number one getting stabbed. That kind of thing. It's
that
like,
will always be what separates the horror movies, right? I always talk about that. I love horror movies, but I'm not one of these people who, because I meet, those horror hounds who are just like, I just want to watch anything. It's like, no, man, when it's bad, it is unbearable.
Yeah, I mean, I think you need to be somewhat discriminating, because horror is so wide. If all you like is going and watching a movie where a creature or a person destroys and kills another human, well, okay, that's not.
That only gets me so far, and this show is that, right? We've seen, like, oh, actually, sadly, the percentage is pretty low. But I talk about this too with a lot of genres. The romantic comedy genre, I feel this way about too. It's like, when it is good, it is incredible. But when it is bad, it is real bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's it exactly. So yes, I also love the moment when they do light him on fire and he's down for a little bit. And he's got the magic words to say, and they're just this, like, goofy, like, what the fuck is this shit?
The idea, I suppose, they don't really spell it out, but it's, I guess, Elvis and Bubba Hotep, when they had that lock eyes moment, it's quite possible where Elvis now, whether he actually understands ancient Egyptian or he just has a empathic, he can kind of tell what the guy's thinking, but Bubba Hotep now is angry, so he speaks. He's like, ah, da, da, da. I guess it's supposed to be ancient Egyptian, and we, the audience, see.
I love this.
Computer graphic hieroglyphics appear, and then a translation under it, and it is something like, by the unblinking eye of Ra. And later, the last one is something like, you fucking asshole.
Oh, no, what is it? Suck Anubis's dog asshole or something like that.
Yeah, something like that, yes.
Yeah. But
which is great.
The incantation that Elvis reads, I have here, which I do love.
Oh, yes, because he has, this translated
from JFK's Book of Souls that they got. Yeah. Here's what you need to say. So they lit him on fire, he's down, and this is what he reads. He goes, "You nasty thing from beyond the dead. No matter what you think or do, good things will never come to you. And if evil is your black design, you can bet the goodness of the light ones will kick your bad behind." And then he just says, then he just goes, "Oh, for Christ's sake."
I do love it. It's like he calls out and goes, "Well, that's just terrible writing." He's like, "That doesn't even rhyme."
Well, he goes, I have this here too. He goes, "That's the chant against evil from the Book of Souls." "Oh, yeah, right, boss. And what kind of Dakota ring comes with that, man?"
Yeah.
Oh, I have it here, actually. It's "Eat the dog dick of Anubis, you asswipe." Yeah. That's what he says in ancient Egyptian to him. Dog dick of Anubis. Okay, great.
Yes.
Yes. That is great, though. It's just like, I love he's saying it from depths of hell and all, and he's just like, what? Oh, Christ. This is not going to do anything. It's great. We get the scene where JFK dies, as we talked about, and then finally it's go time, and he just tackles Bubba Hotep down this hill into the water, where presumably return him to a sarcophagus. Is that the idea of this, right?
Yeah.
But in this process gets stabbed by something, or?
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what it is that he got stabbed with, but when he rolls out, like, the job is done and he's just laying on the ground, he's like, I felt empty inside. It's like I was a balloon that got punctured. And then he looks down and he does have this gaping wound, and he's like, yeah, this is it for me. And he's just looking up at the stars, and it's beautiful.
It is beautiful. I also want to say, before he goes at him here, he does another one of my favorite Elvis lines is this: "It's time for ACT. I'll win."
I know.
And
it's so good.
Yeah, he opens up. At this point, he now, because they had sprayed him with the gas earlier to light him on fire, and this time he just pulls the thing open so it covers him, and there's this trail.
Yeah, the whole thing.
And that's where he hits the lighter and he goes, "Your soul-sucking days are over, amigo."
Yeah.
And lights him up, and he's just like, he's basically going like, "Yeah, I think he does say like, I'm checking out for the last time, but at least the folks up at that retirement home are safe. Their souls are safe."
That's right.
And it's just, once again, he does become the hero he wanted to be. He is just like, I did it, man. Maybe it cost me my life and my friend his life, but we saved everybody, man. And you're just like, fuck yeah, Elvis.
Yeah,
it's
Elvis
great.
Saved us all.
It's great, and the stars spell out all as well. And he's like, all right then, and then thank you very much.
Yeah, literally the stars form other hieroglyphics, and then it gets translated as all is well, and it allows him just to go away.
Yeah, it's great, and the movie ends, and it's such a satisfying and fun movie. It had been years for me watching it too, and I just went, oh God, that's right, I do love this movie. I always would have said I love this movie, but watching it again, I'm like, confirmed, still fucking great.
Yep. Yeah, if you guys haven't seen it, and I don't know if this is really that obscure, but it is a cult movie, and you're probably thinking
there is.
And I will also say, this is not your straightforward horror movie or mummy movie. I'm glad we included it, because you need to include outliers occasionally and say, these concepts can be bent in every
We've
shape.
certainly watched a number of shitty outliers, so it's nice to watch a good one.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a mummy movie, but it has Elvis and JFK.
Also, by my count, I believe this is only the fourth mummy movie I would call even good. So, because I think it's Karloff, then the Cushing and Lee, then Fraser, then this. That's about it. I can't in good conscience recommend any other film about mummies.
Yes. I think your bottom line is correct. As far as purely good and entertaining films, those are the best mummy movies.
Yeah.
So it's pretty amazing that
unless something really surprises me, I don't think we're gonna get another one anytime soon.
No, I think you're right.
You're right. I don't know what it is. The mummies, man, always get shitty movies made about them. It's a real bummer.
Then we get this, and if you haven't watched it, watch it right now.
Now, I will say the sequel is available as a comic book.
Yeah,
from
Bubba Nosferatu.
IDW. Bubba Hotep and the Cosmic Bloodsuckers is what the comic
is that what they
called.
ended up calling it?
That's what they called it. Yeah, the movie that they were going to make was going to be called Bubba Nosferatu. But the comic book is called Bubba Hotep and the Cosmic Bloodsuckers, which I have not read, but I now will, based on this.
I did not even know they'd done it, but
I also
but I'm glad.
Have not read, but I also see here upon my research of this, there's also Bubba Hotep meets Army of Darkness, where this Elvis and Ash apparently team up.
All right. That's a bit cheesy, but will I try to track that down? Yes.
Yeah. Ash embarks on a soul-searching road trip to Texas on a hunch that Elvis Presley may be still alive and kicking and supposedly vanquished a mummy.
I love it.
I kind of like that idea. I mean, if you're going to do it, it's just like, I hear Elvis is down there and he killed a mummy, and Ash is like, I better go check this out. I mean, it's very much the Jack Burton meets Snake Plissken comic that Boom Studios did. It's like, well, you've just got to, you know?
Yeah.
We just can't resist.
No. I mean, it is similar to, and especially if you get like original creators in, somehow involved. I've seen great continuations of Big Trouble in Little China. I've seen great continuations of, decent continuations of Buckaroo Banzai. Yeah. Again, the art, not so great.
Well, but the book was great. The second book.
Yeah, the book was great. But also, the comic series was, again, Eric Mac Roush.
Yes.
And
like I said,
Earl Mac Roush.
I think it's Earl.
Yeah, it is Earl.
The Big Trouble in Little China comic from Boom, I loved, and I also loved,
it was great.
I also loved. I don't know if you read the Chris Sabella's Escape from New York comic, but that was also very good too.
No, I didn't.
Really good. And the Jack Burton meets Snake Plissken is very fun. It's very silly.
I haven't.
There has to be time travel shenanigans for them to even be in the same place. And of course they do the thing about like, hey, that guy kind of looks like you.
Of course.
Yeah. So I don't know, but I'm definitely going to read those Bubba Hotep comics as my sort of renewed. Not that I ever. Once again, it was always just sort of like, oh, I love that movie, but now my renewed fandom of it. And I do also recommend, and I watched it on this because I have the Shout Factory Collector's Edition of this, which is well worth anyone's time.
Oh, I don't know that.
It's loaded up with all kinds of special features, including an audio commentary by the King himself.
Oh my God!
That's
hey,
right,
John.
babe. Yeah.
Could you loan me $2 million so I can buy all the cool stuff?
All the cool stuff, man.
Yeah, that sounds like
well,
something
Shout Factory. The folks over at Shout Factory, they're doing the Lord's
a great
work.
job.
They really are.
Yeah, they are doing that.
That is my jam. They're preserving all these weird cult movies. So, well, next week on the show is a movie I've never seen nor ever heard of, which always means quality.
Yes.
We took a little break from werewolves, but we knew they'd be back as we meet the Wolves of Wall Street.
Oh, I love this one. Oh my God, this is so great. This is the one where Margot Robbie's in it, and you got Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh no,
Sorry, lots of coke.
Yeah. I wish more than anything we were watching that. Instead, we are watching the Wolf. You're thinking of the Wolf of Wall Street. That was just one wolf.
But this one that we're gonna watch still has Jonah Hill in it, right?
He is in it, yes. He's the only returning caster. No Jonah Hill, no Leonardo DiCaprio. Instead, we get Eric Roberts. Yay! Have we had Eric Roberts on this show? He's on my other show all the time, the action show.
I don't think Eric has shown up in one of our monster ones.
But I feel like entering the 2000s now, I feel like we're going to not be able to escape him because we're now entering the era in which he's in every fucking movie anyway.
But I agree. I have not heard of this at all.
Never seen this movie. Blissfully 85 minutes long, which is a good thing. And I'll just I'll just leave it with the tagline, which is "They feed on greed." Oof.
Okay, I'll give them credit. That's pretty clever.
Hey man,
I like it.
I'll tell you that right now. That rhymes pretty well.
That rhymes pretty well.
Yeah.
Maybe that's all you need to take down them terrible werewolves of Wall Street.
That's right, baby. Hey man, Mary Hartman's in it too. Louise Lasser is also in it. So all the big stars, man, they're coming out to play for. I don't know. It's Wall Street with werewolves. I don't know.
We'll see it.
We'll see. I have no expectations because I've never heard of it. Which, like I said, has always turned out well on this show.
Possibly an undiscovered gem.
Something tells me no, and that may be the collective 2.9 star rating on IMDb.
Oh man,
we're in for it.
And yet, I bet they had a bigger budget than this film, which is a freaking
probably
awesome movie.
did. One that goes to show you the money doesn't. I mean, like we're talking about, there are things where it can show, but you just don't care because the movie's so good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that'll be next week on the show, but that is going to do it for this week's episode of Campbell and Jones Meet the Monsters. I'm John Campbell.
I'm Brendan Jones.
And remember, there are such things as monsters.
Love me tender, love me sweet.
Brendan,
I should probably not sing.
I was just gonna say, I just heard we can't do any more of this show because you just destroyed our budget.
All right, well, it was worth it.